Hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where each week we discuss the joy and excitement of UofL women's athletics. Sometimes in the summer months we find that a little more difficult to purvey information and such, but can usually get through a whole show and finish in fine fashion. And we certainly had some things go on this week that we'll look at as far as things going on with Louisville women's athletics and the joy and excitement there. So, as we like to do usually at the start of the show, let's introduce the players today. We have a foursome on board today. Daryl is out doing much needed yard work, from what I understand. And so we did give her a rain check for today's broadcast. But she's going to have to do two next week, okay? So we're going to have her make it up. Time missed. But we do have in this with our house Case and Jeff and Jared, as well as me, Paulie. So let's just go ahead and start it out in alphabetical order here and catch up with Case and see how you've been and how's your week been, sir.
It's been good. It was a fairly decent week, other than having to wake up at, well, I woke up at about the same normal time, but I had to leave the house much earlier. On Tuesday, I had to be at UK to meet somebody at 7:15, 7:30ish. So that was an early start for the day. But
That's double punishment, UK and early. Ugh.
yeah, exactly. No, but other than that, it was a pretty, like I said, pretty uneventful week. Had a friend come over, get started on some design planning for some custom built-in stuff and fireplace redoing. So that'll be exciting. And yeah, other than that, pretty straightforward. Hot week.
Very good. Well, certainly no major catastrophes. That's always a good sign then. So it gets you the motivation to go for another week. Uh, Jeff and I were looking at some things earlier about the stuff going on with volleyball, and I'll tell you, it's going to be an interesting off season so far, Jeff, from what I've seen here. And also, I'm kind of thinking that we have a lot of readers out there who think this is the year that the Cards are going to take it all.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. Obviously, it takes a lot, to win a national championship in any sport, and you can, it's hard. Yeah, I don't think anybody can realistically predict, oh, such and such a team is going to win the national championship in a particular year. But you can say the conditions are ripe. Everything's coming together for the possibility of it. Particularly this early, you've got, there's still some question marks and unknowns on the team on how they're going to gel and come together. But certainly all the pieces and parts are coming together and available, whether they get fit together correctly. But it's an exciting prospect of a year for volleyball. I'm really looking forward to it.
The
We have some summer news going on in it, so that's always nice too. So.
Yeah, well, we will get into that a little bit later on for sure.
Yeah.
As they say, sometimes it's just not the ingredients that are on the table; it's how you blend them,
right,
to see what kind of dish you
Absolutely.
come up with. So that's true as well. And also, yeah, I understand you bought a $500,000 car too. So congratulations on that.
I did not buy that as my uncle's car. Yeah, so he came down to visit last weekend, he and his wife, and yeah, it's a very nice car, very cool, a lot of fun. Ferrari, so it's a SF90 Spider, I think is what the model is. Starts at 500,000 plus, but yeah, take it for a spin. It was fun.
Needs more boot
Uh,
space, apparently.
Yeah, but yeah, trying to pack gear in it is a little tough. It's maybe a rollerboard carry-on bag might fit in that quote trunk. That's about it.
I have I got as a gift last Christmas a roller personal so it fits under the seat. I think that would fit in the in the trunk, but I
Yeah,
don't know about
so
a full size
so
carry on.
what you couldn't tell from that picture is you all probably got a sense of the length and width of that compartment, and it's about rollerboard size in those respects, but it's very shallow too. It's not very deep. So it's most rollerboards probably wouldn't fit from a depth perspective into there. So it was yeah, they both packed really light for the weekend to come down here for that, but they had fun, kind of, showing the car off, and it's fun. It's great.
It's quite a prestigious honor to have something like that. And also, James Dean, the famous movie actor of the 50s and 60s, which I'm sure you all have heard of if you don't remember exactly,
Yeah,
was actually killed in a spider. That's how
yeah,
he lost his life. So
yeah,
let's hope that didn't happen to your uncle and aunt,
yeah.
obviously. And
No,
certainly, I would love to be able to ride in one of those one day. That would
yeah,
be
it was fun.
fantastic.
He had it like he had it detuned. He didn't have all the go fast bits enabled, but that's fine. I'm driving on Waterson Expressway. I don't need to.
And getting a couple of looks, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Jared in the house with us as well. Kind of catch us up on what's been going on with you, sir. I know you were talking a little bit about some photo shoots that you were doing kind of as a side hustle and such. How's your week been?
Yeah, a couple of photo gigs here and there. We're preparing for Katie's family's coming up for the 4th of July, the long weekend. So excited to have them up and visiting. And our church music director is retiring after 35 years tomorrow. So a lot of happenings and special music going on for that. And we've got a rehearsal today, and I forget how many actual instruments I'm playing for this event. I kind of lost count a while ago, but I'm good to go to play everything.
And we are assuming you're not going to play them all at one time.
No, I think max 2 at a time.
And something that I found interesting about stuff like that when it does take around is the majority of the congregation kind of hip and okay. It's like, yeah, we hate to see him go, or is it one of those he needs to go situations?
Oh no, she's been here for 35 years, and it's reached a good retirement age. So I think she's ready to retire and spend some more time on the beach. And her husband is doing some part-time work, so it'll just open up a lot more free time for them. Less long nights with rehearsals, less early mornings on Sunday. Uh, so we're excited, and then we've got an interim lined up. So we'll see how our Mr. Interim does when he starts in a couple weeks.
There you go. You're bringing in the relief pitcher. I hope it turns out well for you.
We can always bring Paul in to sing if need be.
I can definitely come in and do my collection of Eagles hits, and I think the congregation would love it. But then after half an hour, we'd be looking for something else to do. So I don't know.
Congregation might be run off.
Would the congregation want to sing Witchy Woman, by the way? I don't think they would. Sorry. As for me, oh, wait, that was really pretty uneventful and kind of, along the grain, except for one notable exception. I was in contact with a friend of mine who years ago I used to bowl with in a bowling league. That was the president and, of course, bowler, and enjoyed it quite a bit. It was a fun bowling league, and I think Case knew of it. We had a wide reach throughout the community at the now defunct Thelma Lanes in Shively. But anyway, one of the old bowlers in there got in touch with me. It was good to catch up with her. I hadn't talked with her in a long time. Found out some stuff about her and she was going on with her, and then everything was cool. And then a day later, I got this email from her. I know she didn't mean to send it to me because there was a picture in this email of her and nothing was left to the imagination. And I'm kind of like, whoa. I think I better get in touch with her and see that, I hope she didn't broad base and send this thing out to 80 people. Woof. It'll be like the old Elaine episode of Showing the Nipple. Except this was a lot more extensively. Anyway, I talked to her. She said that by mistake, did not mean to do that. Apologized all over the place and everything like that. But talk about getting an old man's blood pressure up for about 15 seconds.
Poor Jeff and Case are going to have to add the not family friendly filter on today's
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Woof. Because I was I wish we could have bowled like that. Whoa, I never would have missed a week. But other than that, yeah, things going pretty well. I like that. Having good times up in Cincinnati up there with them and that the kidney transplant program they got. They're very proactive on a lot of things and have decided, unfortunately, they want me to take a colonoscopy. I used to do one regularly for every 4 or 5 years until I was given the all clear, all is okay 10 years ago. And the people who do those told me, you don't need to do these anymore. You're fine. No polyps, no nothing. Everything's clean as a soap. You're fine. But Cincinnati has decided, well, we need one for our testing, so get to go back in for that procedure again. Not a fun procedure. If you've ever had one done, you can suffer with me. If you haven't, I hope that you never need to have one. Because, anyway, don't become a big fan of colonoscopies, please. So that's what's up with me, and we'll also kind of. I don't think there's anything schedule-wise that we need to look at here, Jared. Maybe a couple of things going on with some of our athletes and other endeavors, but certainly nothing I think on the UofL schedule, right?
No, nothing in terms of recognized UofL sports. There's still a few more Olympic trials going on for the U.S. right now, which we can kind of get into later with some current UofL student athletes that are going to be heading to Paris here soon. But other than that, there's nothing at least for another month and a half, but at least you get to August, early mid-August, and we're going to start seeing some sports kick in.
And we'll certainly be excited about that when that happens. Kind of catching up with some things. We finally got the long. Go ahead and give us, I guess, X information one more time. Whatever. I mean, yeah, I don't see much action on there. I'm sure you guys don't either, but just go ahead and throw it on out there in case anybody's curious.
Yeah, not much happening for us with Twitter/X. Daryl, who is not here today, tweets out as Daryl Faust 4. That's the number 4. Case tweets out his best case scenario. No E in the word best. Jeff's got a couple Twitter accounts with Card Couple Radio and Jeff McAdams. I tweet out as Mr. Anderson Jared, and Paulie tweets out as Cardinal Couple. We've all been pretty quiet lately. If you hop on there right now, it's just random UofL basketball and football information going on and a lot of politics after the presidential debate the other day.
Yeah, quite a bit of politics. And certainly a lot of discussion on that, but that's not our bag. We don't talk that, so we're going to stay with sports. The University of Louisville finally announced what everybody knew, and they also made a secondary announcement on their women's basketball program. That was a very, very pleasant surprise, as the Cards announced on Tuesday that, guess what, Amanda Butler's in town. No, you're kidding. Named as an assistant coach to the women's basketball program, which I think we knew this right after Halloween. But I'm kidding, it wasn't that long ago. But we knew that she was here, and we're happy about it. And it was, she's also promised that she's going to try and get with Daryl for an interview, which will be cool. But we welcome her as an assistant coach to the program. Certainly, her wealth of knowledge and such is just fantastic on the game. Previously at Clemson, before that was at Florida, had a stint with Chattanooga. She has a lot of experience. She's very good with the players, and will certainly be a great addition to the Cardinal staff. Getting a promotion, our old buddy Courtney Walton. That's right. Courtney is now the director
Yay.
of basketball operations at Louisville. Yes, and if we had our sound effects, I would do the applause meter right now. I would
Yep.
definitely set
Yep.
that up because she
Longtime
is
favorite of Cardinal couple.
a absolutely very long time favorite of Cardinal couple, and it's just always good to see her. Anytime that I get down to the basketball offices for whatever reason, I'm on campus. Or even if I'm on campus, I always make a point of stopping by to see if Courtney's in because it's so much fun to go in and talk with her and just kind of shoot the bull and see what's happening and kind of talk about this, that, and the other thing. And she's kind of replaced my Sam Purcell on campus, the one that I could always walk in and talk to see, and always knew I was going to get a good reception and have a lot of fun with, and usually get a lunch invite every once in a while, and that kind of deal. That we are very, very happy to have her as the director of basketball operations, and certainly was well groomed and well trained for the position, guys. So let's start with her first. I think would be the best way to go here. Let's kind of take it around the bat here and see what you guys think about her getting this promotion up to basketball operations. Case, thoughts on it?
Well, I think it's well deserved, and a step towards um, assistant coach position down the line. If not with U of L, it at least expands the responsibilities and um, gives other programs more of an eye on what she's doing as part of the staff, um, and really, I think that a promotion like that is specifically with an eye on that, trying to advance the opportunities um, for the future.
Would agree 100% with that. And I almost came up with the stupid subtitle: "No surprise for the girl from Surprise." That is her hometown, Surprise, Arizona. So I know I probably would have gotten booed off the website, but certainly she is a person who has. And Jeff Walls summed it up pretty well. She's always kind of showed us the qualities, even as a player, and or when she got here as a freshman, that the Cards value in their program. She took a leadership role. She understood what it was like to be not only an on-court presence but an off-court presence and taking care of things. And certainly during the time that she was here, there were some characters on the University of Louisville women's basketball team, no doubt about it. But you could always look to Courtney as being kind of a stable and kind of a calming and a steady flow player that you could talk to and get the true scope on the issue. Uh, Jared, you've had a lot of interactions with her, like I have. She's just top notch.
Great person, easy to talk to. She's always happy to see us and willing to conversate with us at these pre-basketball game lunches or dinners that we may have back in the media room. Always up to date with everything going on. Great source of knowledge. So I'm excited to have her uh, taking a larger role with the women's basketball program, and with her basketball background, she can almost serve as an unofficial like basketball coach role as well.
Definitely so. And I don't know what the NCAA policies and guidelines are on allowing uh, like something like adobo to practice with the team. Now, obviously, we've had some in the past that weren't going to practice with the team. We knew that. Kate Tucker Matthews, maybe one out of a couple we've had in past years, but Courtney was still able to get out there and probably put up a double double against our starters. She's still that strong and talented and in shape. And so, Jeff, when you get a player like this back from another school and then send her up the ladder, really says a lot about how much people want to be in your program.
Yeah, obviously she spent a little time in some other schools, and I know she spent a little bit of time at Georgia Tech, I think somewhere else as well in her career, before she returned to Louisville and joined back up with joined up with the Louisville staff, joined back up with the Louisville program. Yeah, I mean it's obviously nice when you have uh, former people formerly associated with the program that want to get back here. That says something. Is it's not just a hey, let's try something new and see if it works. It's I know what the situation is like is here. I know I want to be back there. So it's a big vote of confidence.
And certainly that was even part of her uh, promotional announcement. I'm excited and honored to be given the role of director of basketball operations. She said right there, Louisville has always been home to me, and I'm thrilled to be continuing to contribute to the success of our program. Wow, that's exemplary statement for the job, and we'll see how it works out for her. I know when she was in alumni relations and the other things that she was doing was good. I can even remember back to the days, and I'm sure you guys can as well, when she was the halftime reporter
Mhm.
and would run out there and talk to walls at the halftimes of games when they were on the ACC network. And we always had kind of a thing. I would bring her a cookie, but she couldn't have the cookie until after she talked to walls. And so just did a lot of fun with her over the years, and certainly so glad to have her here and, as they say, enriched and empowered and given a new job with a little more weight to it. And I just can only see great things happening out of this for her. Also, we had mentioned Amanda Butler. Anything else on Courtney, guys, before we move on?
Nope.
Getting nothing from you all. Okay, we'll move on to Amanda Butler then. Divorce kept secret in America. She's now at UofL as an assistant coach. But let's take a look at what she brings into the program. Sure, UofL fumbled here on the goal line when they were going to make the announcement and didn't. And somebody said, well, maybe they were just waiting to make both announcements at the same time between Butler and Walton. No, I don't think so. Uh, but Jeff Walls has been a busy man lately. I think right now he's even over in Turkey or headed to Turkey to do some international basketball stuff. But with Butler, and one thing we know she can run a practice. We definitely know that she can run a team if need be. Uh, what's she going to add to the staff? I guess is my main question beside the experience. What other qualities is she bringing in here? Are you guys seeing anything that I'm not, maybe, in some of the skills that she has? And we'll kick it right. Whoever wants to start.
Um, I'm not entirely sure on what she's bringing to the table. I don't know if it's a good or bad hire yet. So I'm kind of indifferent, going to hang out neutral and in the middle. I do know that at one point Barry did take a visit down to Clemson. I don't know if maybe this has helped with the recruitment to get Barry here. Uh, at least Amanda Butler, as you mentioned, does have coaching experience. She knows what it's like to be a head coach for Division I program in a Power Five conference. So just some of that veteran leadership and experience, I think, is going to maybe provide more of the role we're looking at here. I know she didn't have much success with the Clemson program down there. So this isn't something where I think she's going to be leading a lot of the day-to-day operations or doing a lot of the mid-game coaching adjustments, but maybe just more behind the scenes. I'm curious to see what her involvement may be with the film or scouting, game plans, kind of things that we don't always see out on the court.
Yeah, certainly could be in a part of her role as the assistant coach, recruiting as well. I got to wonder if she's going to be out on the road a lot for Louisville. And what a great spokesman for your team to have visit, prospective kids. I would think. Case, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think the fresh perspective is probably the biggest strength. or the biggest asset of the addition in recent years. Maybe we've heard some inklings that Wall's message could be getting a little stale, and maybe having some more trouble getting through to some of the team. I don't think that's entirely because of Walls. I think there were some other extenuating circumstances with some of the teams in the past, but having the new era of college athletics where transfers abound and you're constantly building a new team, not just from new recruits, but adding a ton of depth and contribution from the transfer portal, having another long-time head coach to help massage the message maybe, and kind of bring the team together with more than just the one voice from Walls, I think can be a big benefit.
I would think as well. And also, another factor that you did mention, she is definitely one who has been around the ACC and knows the ACC and has obviously coached against the ACC and is going to help the Cards in preparation for games against the opponents and maybe give them a second look at what she sees in addition to what Walls and his previous career here saw if they were going in to play at Wake Forest and they point out A, B, C, and D, and maybe from her experience she goes, that's fine. But how about E and F here? Let's look at these two factors. Something you could add a more brushstroke to a broad picture, if it makes any sense at all. And a fantastic person to talk to. I had some fun chatting with her down at the ACC tournament when I used to go down and hit those, and certainly look forward to get back down there again, and certainly look forward to getting on campus to talk with her, and hopefully she had talked to Daryl about possibly doing an interview with her after the 4th of July. So we hope that happens and hope that takes part. And of course, I know Jared and I would be happy to participate in any way Daryl asks us to. So, and I'm sure you guys would be glad. Well, let's just get the whole Cardinal couple crew down there and team up on her. What do you say, guys?
I don't know. Case has scared some coaches away with questions in the past.
Well, that's true. Case, we're going to send
They're not
Case.
gone. They just don't talk to me.
Just going to send Case over to talk to women's soccer. And
They don't talk to any of us now, Case.
Well, that's true. The one interview we tried to do this year, she didn't even show up.
No, but
Sit players only.
We got 8 seniors at the same time.
only 2 of who wanted to talk.
Yeah, you're trending. Yeah, that's right, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Good work. One thing that we do want to take a look at too, in a bit as well, is a very nice article that came out of the hands of Jared this week, as Jared decided that he was going to stumble over his feet and spill the milk all over the table and come up with some fall predictions, just what we've got into summer. So Jared does indicate in his article he's making some quick summertime guesses. And so, hey, I'll give you credit for, stepping forward and saying, okay, here's what I think. What do y'all got? Come on. There's my thoughts. Talk about kind of the idea for the article, Jared, and some of the things that you talked about in here.
There's nothing else to talk about right now. So that's what it came down to. But no, that's more of just a kind of a summertime prediction that's subject to change later on as we get closer to the season. As I want to see more with schedules, the rosters. I want to kind of see how the early season practices are going to give me a better insight on where these programs may be. I feel like I'm not far off from any of them. Unfortunately, women's soccer to me doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. I get the vibe it's just plateaued, and we're going to flatline it for another season. I could be wrong, but ACC is just extremely difficult. That's one of the sports where I mentioned 3 of the Final Four teams last season are playing in the ACC in the fall. So clearly, it's just a very difficult conference to play in. We're not up to the caliber of a lot of these teams. Conference play is going to be the killer. I think non-conference looks pretty easy, uh, but you got to be able to do something in conference play as well. Field hockey, Justine Sowery's been around for a long time. A lot of success, proven she can win top caliber games constantly, whether it's Big Ten matchups, ACC matchups, somebody else who may come in and be having a good season or two. She schedules it tough on purpose. They're tried and ready to go by the time you get to postseason. They typically are able to win a game or two in ACC, NCAA tournaments where they've struggled a little bit more. I think they're only 500 over the last few years in NCAA tournament play. That's the one spot I'd love to see them improve on, and I do think they'll at least get to a semifinal, the Elite Eight, or sorry, quarterfinal at the Elite Eight in the NCAA. But I think a semifinal ACC appearance should work. Stanford doesn't bring much to field hockey. Cal's decent. Uh, they played in a weak Pac-12 conference, so that's maybe a little misleading. And then volleyball. I think that's the one we're going to look at as the golden child in the fall. Just a lot of success since Danny Busby Kelly's taken over, taking them up to the next level. Final Four appearances, top tier talent. You've got a lot of strong players and a lot of veteran players on the team this year. Plus the added bonus of being able to play at home potentially for the entire NCAA tournament, play in front of a home crowd for the Final Four and the championship. Louisville fans, when they choose to show out, do a great job. And when you get to postseason play, that's typically when Louisville fans decide to show up. KFC Yum Center does sell alcohol. I don't think they can for the tournament, but there's plenty of bars nearby. Let those fans get some beer in their system. Get on over there, and I think Jeff can agree with me where a championship for this season would not be a far-fetched idea at all.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's hard to predict that it will happen because there's just so many variables involved. But yeah, I think like we said earlier, the pieces and parts are there. We've got we're only changing out one starter from last season as the well. Let me rephrase that. All but one of the starters from last season are returning on the team. We may have a different starting lineup as things progress, but all but one of the starters from last year's team are returning. Iko Jones finishing out her eligibility, but yeah, I mean that's a great returning core. You've got some amazing players in there. We've got depth at every position now, with some really good players showing up, particularly with some of the freshmen coming in, bolstering where we may have had just a few tiny little weak spots. So, some amazing possibilities here with this team. It's we'll see how they, come together and play. That's the big question.
We also play a lot of the top 10 in the regular season. Nebraska,
We have a
Wisconsin, Stanford,
brutal
Pitt, maybe
schedule.
Kentucky if they get up there. So these are teams that you're going to have played in the regular season and now get to see in postseason. So you're a little more familiar with them, see what you were successful and what may have not been so successful against them in the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an absolutely, you call it a brutal non-conference schedule, and of course the ACC is quite good. I looked at, for example, Wisconsin's schedule is another. Wisconsin being another, team that's going to be competitive again this year at the top levels, and their out of conference schedule is not nearly as strong as ours. As far as the quality of the teams are playing, so you look at that, and the philosophy of this coaching staff is to kind of help prepare for postseason, and they start out with a bang. You start out playing Wisconsin, there's just some, we've got Wisconsin, Kentucky, Penn State. I don't remember who all we said on there. Nebraska is in there. Yeah, lots of really, really top quality teams out of conference before we even get into the quality ACC play. It's sink or swim for this team, and we'll see how they swim.
And also the added honor and prestige here, Jeff, of two cards being picked for the U.S. national team squad. I mean, Kara Cressy and Atlanta Scott, but My question to you is: were these for sure the best two cards available for that squad?
Yeah, I probably. I don't know. So first of all, Anna De Beer, was picked as an alternate for the squad. Uh, she didn't travel there, but she was an alternate for it. So an honor for her as well in the process of that. Um, I don't know. You could argue that Anna should have been there. She is probably one of the best hitters in the country. But when you're picking a single squad to represent the U.S., you're picking the top 3 or 4. Is she there? It's probably close, but that's questionable. But then when you're picking a libero, you're picking the top 2 in the country. Is Atlanta Scott the top 2 liberos in the country in college? Yes, unquestionably, right? I think she's the best in the country. So Kara Cressy is coming on strong as a top middle in the country. She also is a good server. That's something I noticed because in international play, liberos can't serve, so the middles have to serve. And Kara is a good server, so having a middle that's a good server is a nice benefit there. So she's got some potential to add to that. Um, definitely some an argument to be made that yeah, those may have been the 2 best, but you know, we also have some progress in the future, and we may see some step up as well. I will point out there are 4 University of Louisville reading interests in this Norseca tournament, the Final Six tournament. We've got Atlanta Scott and Kara Cressy that we talked about that's on the USA team. Sofia Maldonado Diaz is playing for Mexico. She is the transfer that's coming in from Arizona. They played, U.S. and Mexico played Wednesday. U.S. swept, but it was close. It was a good match. And then playing this evening in the semifinal rounds, U.S. is playing Puerto Rico, which has Wilma Rivera on the team. So former Cardinal in that case, but not it's not just these 2 that are the Cardinal reading interests in this tournament.
And where will we be able to watch this match tonight? Should there be an interest?
It is the streams are available on YouTube. I have had trouble finding them on YouTube, but they are there. Uh, I'm not sure of a good pointer to kind of point people to it, but if you search for Norseca Final Six 2024, hopefully that will turn it up. YouTube search has been weird recently, so that's where you can find the streams. They're pretty good. Spanish language commentary, so you could either ignore that or try to brush up on your Spanish. But yeah,
Yeah, well, maybe we can learn enough where we can do the podcast next week in Spanish. Boy,
yeah,
that's going to be a short show.
yeah.
Hola, adios. The cards obviously getting a lot of recognition from people. A lot of people thinking that they may be the team that's going to capture the title in the upcoming volleyball D1 NCAA season. Obviously, let's face it, there's, a lot of other very, very good competition, as you guys have been saying, when you take a look at the powerhouses that are Wisconsin, that are Nebraska, even schools. Still, hey, Penn State's got a great program up there.
Mhm.
Purdue. Jeff, I'm sure you can name some of the others that are going to say not so fast, my friend, when the Cards try to walk through the championship door.
Well, obviously you got to look at we don't play them in the regular season, but you got to look at Texas. I mean, they're back-to-back champions. Um, and Jarrett down there, Coach Jarrett, is shown a propensity to let's say build a new team from the portal every year, but to do a really good job of it. So obviously you got to look at them and think they're probably going to be a contender. Who knows? It's probably going to be about halfway new team again.
Yeah, they didn't add
But
anybody notable, right?
yeah, it's like last year was like this is a totally different team than the one before that won that championship, but they won it again because whatever. So anyway, yeah, you got to consider them. You got to consider obviously Wisconsin, as we talked about, Nebraska. And then you have your teams like UC San Diego that show up every once in a while. You're like, where did they come from? But yeah, they can jump up there and be a good team. Pitt's going to be a good team again. Uh, Maybe a little less weird than they were last year. They were a good team last year, but they were weird in that they did this weird kind of 6-2 sort of thing going on. But they'll be good again. Yeah, I don't. I would have to go kind of look at what all else is out there. Washington, yeah, is typically up there. Um, yeah, maybe Florida State. I don't know if they'll show up again. They've struggled over the past few years, so yeah.
Certainly fun times ahead, and watching all that unfold for the Cards and see how things happen there. And also, we'll be very, very excited to see what happens to the prospective Cardinals that are on this team. Uh, Looking at some other things that went on this week, other things that we've been talking about, I guess touching back maybe on women's basketball a little bit. I had kind of a fun article that I threw out there the other day to talk a little bit about women's basketball, and even came out with one of those, oh my God, he hasn't done this again. Put a quiz out there for the readers to take. Now, did any of you all take the quiz or see it?
I looked through it quickly, and
I got
I
4
think
out of 5.
I think I got 4.
Okay, in case.
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Oh, good. We have a pigeon then. That's fine. So, yeah, I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to give you the quiz. Put away all your reading materials.
Okay.
Put your head underneath the desk. No, I mean your books underneath the desk. Grab your ankles and scream. Here we go. Who is the lone Kentucky high school player on the Louisville roster? She went to Sacred Heart, if that helps.
Reagan Bender.
Bingo. He nails it. He's 1 for 1. That's right. She helped Sacred Heart to win the state title in her senior year. Was kind of a later addition to Walls's class, and some have questioned why, but certainly a very, very good guard who shoots well from outside. Don't forget that. She's a very, very good three-point excellent shooter. Question number 2, sir. Who is the leading returning rebounding or the leading returning scorer for the Cards? Is it Olivia Cochran or Nyla Harris?
Scorer, not rebounder.
Leading returning scorer.
Nyla.
I thought I might catch a people with Nyla, and I caught you as well.
Ah,
It is
was Olivia.
actually
Okay.
Olivia Cochran, but not by much. She
Those are
averaged
close.
10.8 a game. Nyla averaged 10.4.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah. Just a couple missed putbacks by Olivia underneath. Question, you're 1 for 2, sir. Question number 3. What Canadian province is Marissa Russell from? Ottawa, Ontario, or British Columbia?
I don't. Ontario.
And he nails it. Boy, did he reach back and pull out the fastball there? Yes, he did.
It's the it's the most populous one, so
Yes, it is.
pretty good guess.
Yeah, also, yeah, we're CNN's got a lot of stuff up in Toronto and stuff like that. Yeah, very, very, very Americanized actual province up there, in my opinion. Question number 4. Which incoming freshman was originally headed to Clemson but switched to Louisville?
Barry. Amari Barry.
That's correct, Amari Berry. A 5-star recruit. the highest recruit in Clemson women's basketball history. She backed out of the Tigers commit to become a Card because obviously she wanted to come up here and take part in Derby festivities.
Who wouldn't?
And and will be prominently featured in a lot of floats. No. Uh, glad to have her on board. What a ball player. She's good. I watched some tape on her the other day, just kind of preparing this article and stuff, and I'm like, wow, she could come over here and make some big noise. She really could. Okay, you're doing well here. You're doing well. 3 for 4. This is determined on whether you pass or not, sir. Question number 5. Where did Jada Curry begin her college career?
Oh no.
Yes, Jada Curry. Where did she start?
Is this one not? This one's not multiple choice.
Oh, yeah.
So it's this open answer.
I'll throw some. I didn't in the actual article, but I'll throw some multiples at you for sure. Arizona, Oregon State, or California?
Oh. Cal?
Well, once again, he pulls out the curveball and strikes out. You don't know. You got it right. She was Pac-12 Freshman of the Year at Cal.
Without the multiple choice, I never would have gotten that. Just to be completely honest.
We'll still give you a pass.
No shot.
80%. That's fine. You still did well. Just out of curiosity, which one tripped you up when you took it, Jeff?
I think it was the first one, actually.
Oh, not much on the Reagan, huh?
No, didn't. Yeah.
You're gonna love her as a player.
Yeah.
And she's also very easy on the eyes, guys. So keep that in mind too.
I'm excited for this season. It should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking so. But Jada Curry did start at Cal. Was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. Of course, she's now a Cardinal. I'm projecting her maybe a starter for us this year. I can't see anything that would keep her out of the starting lineup. And also a player that certainly isn't going to be considered the tallest player on the team. I think her height is 5'5" or 5'6", Jared.
Yeah, she's pretty short.
That. So I think she is with that I can remember the shortest player on the team.
Now, does she qualify for attack Yorkie?
Well,
yes, 5'6", I think is it, right?
I think 5'6" could put her in there.
Has traditionally been the cutoff.
That is right. So
Yeah.
we can now start adding another moniker to her, in addition to being Jada Curry, Attack Yorkie, when we refer to in articles again. I had not even thought of that. Good pickup, guys. Also in that article, I stated the tallest Cardinal on the roster. Who do you guys think the tallest Cardinal is?
Ooh, I don't know if it changed, but it was Ema Fidon.
As far as I know, it's still her.
Jeff, you along for the ride?
Sure.
He's got his thumb out. He says, "Yep, I'm good."
Yeah.
And you are correct. At 6'5", she is the tallest Cardinal on the roster.
I couldn't remember if the Aussie supplanted her.
Nope. I think Jeff Remens, if I remember correctly, is 6'4". So she's knocking at the door.
Ballpark, but yeah.
And could still be growing. You never know. So maybe possibly one. If you take a look at the actual roster breakdown of players via state or nation, there are 10 from the United States on our roster and 4 from foreign countries.
Curry is officially 5'6", by the way, now that I finally opened the roster.
Yeah. Who are the Cardinal players that are from overseas? Or not from the USA?
Not from the U.S., yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah, I was going to say one of them's not
Canadian.
overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct you are.
The Great Lakes are almost seas.
They are pretty deep and pretty wide. So y'all are referring obviously to Marissa Russell. That's one.
Russell, Ema Fedon,
Yeah.
Jeffermans,
Oh, it's the last one.
Istanbuloglu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say as Aleph the returner, I guess would be.
That's 4. How many did you say there were?
That's your 4.
That's 4. Yeah.
You guys nailed them in fine fashion there. So that leaves 10, of course, from the United States. And 4 of those players are from which state? Is it California, Florida, or Kentucky?
I'm gonna go with California.
You already said that. You already said that only one is from Kentucky, so
Yeah.
You got a freebie there.
I think it's California. You have Arenas, Hardy. Who else would it be?
Jada is California. Is she not?
She played there. Did she start her career there? I mean, is she from there?
I'm still sticking with California.
I don't
Jeff,
even know
you
what
on
the
the
other state was.
California vote?
Florida? I don't even. Do we have anybody from Florida?
I think it's California. I don't know.
And California is correct, guys. Very, very good. The actual breakdown of the United States contingent is 4 players are from California. You have 2 from Florida, and 1 each from Tennessee, Michigan, and Kentucky. So we take a look at the cards. This is a very young team coming up here. The actual breakdown of what you have on this roster is 7 freshmen, 1 redshirt freshman, 1 sophomore, and only 1 junior, 2 seniors, and 2 graduate players. So basically, 9 of your 14 players are not juniors yet. Let's bat that one around a little bit. This is going to be kind of a headache possibly waiting to happen for Jeff Walls with this youth on the team. Case, thoughts on this?
I think that there wasn't as much youth last year, but still a lot of new faces, and we didn't really love the way that it turned out. We've talked about having a lot of transfers and not being able to get the message across, and how this year looked like it was going to be more of a traditional build from the bottom up roster, and that is how it's turning out. And so I think that bringing in new players or young players, yes, but some of the top recruits from the states. Jeffermans has a lot of experience in international play. I think there's a lot of experience on the roster, despite not being collegiate experience. And the more time that they have together, and the more time that Walls has to kind of help the team gel, and fewer old habits to try to break as far as collegiate style of play goes, I think could be very beneficial.
7 freshmen and a new assistant coach. Jeff, is there any need for worry or concern about all this new addition to the squad?
I mean, yeah. Anytime you have new faces, I think you wonder how they're going to fit in together. We saw that. That's some of what we talked about last year with so many transfers. Like Case was talking about, is are they going to be able to buy into the Jeff Walls way of doing things and the system? And 'cause he has a definite system of how he likes to play games and the style of player that he likes to get in there, and are they going to fit in with that and mesh and gel? It's a concern with so many new faces, whether those are transfers or freshmen. At least with freshmen, you look at it and say, well, okay, maybe not this year, but maybe in next year or the year after, you start to see them gel and come together and become a more powerful team. And you get to look further out. That's the it's the big challenge with the portal, right? And a lot of people are making a lot of moves in the portal, but now you got to look at can you put a team together out of it? And it's, you know, if you go back to the more traditional ways of bringing in freshmen and teaching them and growing them and developing over the years, then there's a better chance of that happening. So, I look 2 to 3 years out and I'm like, okay, I think we're going to be in good shape. This year might be a little interesting, might be a little rocky. So
Jared, when Jeff Wallace takes a look at this mess he's got down there, I'll just use it in a fun term. It's not really a mess. It's a bunch of very, very talented high school student athletes that have come in and uh, tried to make their mark upon the U of L program. But when Jeff Walls looks at this, what is it? What do you think his primarily factor he's looking for here? Cohesiveness with the team, individual speed capability of the players. Who are the good shooters? Who are the good defenders? What is Jeff Walls got? And in his mindset here as he's watching them practice and trying to formulate some kind of starting lineup.
Who can play defense? That was the killer last year. Is defense. I thought there was different scores, and we've got plenty of scores that are coming in and returning into the team. But who's going to be able to actually get out there and stop the other team from doing anything?
Defense is okay. Yeah, you obviously have to stop the other team from putting the ball in the basket in order to win a game. But then someone would turn around and say, well, you also have to put it into the basket more than they do in order to win a game. A fun season ahead, perhaps. I don't know if I haven't seen any really very, very early ACC expectations for how the Cards will do in women's basketball in the conference this year. I would think maybe a top four would be the projection of most out there. Thoughts on that, guys? Does that sound about right?
I mean, I would hope and expect so, given we're talking a lot about the new players, but some of Louisville's best players are returning. Nyla Harris and Olivia Cochran are going to make this team go again, just like they did last year.
Absolutely.
And back to what Jeff said about, maybe this year we take some lumps. I think that, as college sports fans, when you're building your team of newcomers and they're freshmen, you're like, okay, we can take some lumps, right? Because those players are going to grow, they're going to get better, and then you see what you've got in the years to come. Whereas a team like last season, when you've got 7 new players on the roster and 5 of them graduated right after that, 7 new non-freshmen, I mean, or however many transfers it ended up being, and then they're gone immediately, then you're like, okay, well, that year didn't turn out, and also we have no continuation of it for the following year. So, yeah, I think every year the expectation for Louisville is going to be top 4, and I don't see any reason based on the way the roster is constructed so far to think differently.
I'm going to throw one at you now that somebody asked me the other day. And it was, well, I kind of had to stop and think about it. Go, that's a good question. Throwing out basketball and volleyball, setting them aside, what is your favorite women's sport at the University of Louisville? And we'll go ahead and start with you, Jeff.
So run the question by me one more time.
We're throwing out basketball. We're throwing out volleyball. What is your favorite women's sport at the University of Louisville?
Softball.
Softball. Holly April's a good crew down there. Certainly, always fun,
Yeah,
always
it's
entertainment.
just fun. Just not so much fun. I maybe not be quite the right word. Just it's a nice, relaxing way to spend an afternoon to go out to Ulmer. Just kind of chill out, enjoy the usually nice weather in the spring. Yeah.
Softball for Jeff. Case?
Well, my primary sport wasn't eliminated from the list, so
That's true. That's
soccer.
True. I said, well, what did I ask him that for? I know what his answer's going to be anyway.
If I had to pick one that wasn't my primary sport, and wasn't the 2 that are eliminated because they're the other obvious choices. Favorite? I mean, I don't keep up with it nearly as much as I could or should, but it's always enjoyable to like keep track of the field hockey program, and I think it's a very exciting team that is going to keep knocking on the door and may very well, I know we say this like every year, but may very well be the next first national championship team at the University of Louisville, not just on the women's side. I think that there's a much better chance that they could be the first new national champion um, than football or baseball. I think they're right there, so they're fun. They're exciting to keep up with.
And before I get to you, Jared, I'm going to jump in there and also add my selection here, and that is field hockey. I'm throwing out basketball, of course, and volleyball, which I love both to death. But after those two, it is field hockey, and then there's a lot of reasons behind it. Mine is kind of a longevity thing. I've known Coach Sauer down there for a very, very long time. I've had some great discussions with her about things that were not only sports related. I've loved to see this program grow. I've loved to see the attention that's been paid to some of the players. Like when we had a Aisha McFerrin, we had the best goalkeeper in the world here. Think about that on a college level here at the University of Louisville. And the vast majority of our fans, unfortunately, didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
They didn't think about field hockey as being in a sport that they needed to follow. And, even the stuff that she's still doing today over in Ireland, just incredible. You had her here, and she was fun. And I even got her to do an Irish jig for me one time. So
Did she do it in the pads?
yes, she did.
That's impressive.
Wow. Yeah.
We were just talking after practice a little bit, and I was out there kind of talking to Sarah a little bit, but she was over there, and then I said, Aisha, you never gave me the Irish jig I wanted to see. And she said, okay, how about now? And just started dancing with her pants on. Uh, the Coach Sarah just shook her head and walked off. Like, okay, this is what I need. Pull it in here, throwing my players completely off the whole game plan, having them dancing out there. Certainly a great program. All right, Jared.
Oh, without a doubt, softball.
Softball is his pick. Any particular reasons why that one over another?
No, I think it's just a fun sport. Really exciting sport, in my opinion.
Is it one that you kind of prefer to shoot as a photographer?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of action that goes on in softball. It's pretty close to where I'm at, so I'm not having to stretch and reach my camera super far, which certainly helps as well. And it's just, I think, a fast paced and it's an often high scoring game. You typically get a lot of emotion and celebrations out of it. Volleyball's the same way as well. I think in terms of your action packed with a lot of emotions, excitement, they both kind of follow suit in that. And it's just great for the camera.
It is indeed. And I would also say that you and I, and some of the interviews that we have done with the various softball players over the years and such, they've always been such fun interviews. And they've also been ones that come up to us after they've graduated and still come up and say hi to us. And it's like, hi, how you doing? So just a class organization. And I hated to see Sandy Pearsall leave, but I'm more than happy with the replacement that came in to replace her in Holly April. No doubt about that. All right, guys. It's coming to that time of the day where we get to our final thoughts. I'll go ahead and start it out this week. Just wanted to say that I'm very, very excited about the upcoming fall season, and I want to see basically how our very, very fine field hockey team does out there. I think that this could be a team that has it all together this year and will come out and do some very, very wonderful things. They got back some very, very key players, and I think that they're going to be able to go out and make a noise in the ACC and also in the nation. So good luck to field hockey. I can't wait to see them play, and I'm hopefully not going to have to miss many home games at all. Jeff, what you got for me?
Yeah, in addition to the stuff we talked about with volleyball earlier, the coaching staff has been on an absolute tear of getting verbal commitments for particularly looking at 2026 timeframe here. Over the past week or two, have signaled apparently 5 verbal commits for the 2026 class. We believe for the 2026 class. As a community, as a volleyball community, we've only been able to figure out who 4 of those are. So there's an unknown out there. We're still trying to figure out. But the 4 we have a setter, 2 middles, and an outside hitter. So where will that 5th one line up? We don't know yet. We'll have to figure out who it is.
I'm not overly confident in a verbal commitment that hasn't made a post that they can repost so that we know who it is.
Yeah, it's a little unusual. Usually the player will post something and we haven't seen it. Maybe they're just not on social media much. It's
Could be,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could be an international.
Yeah, that's possible.
Certainly, we'll look forward to see, but it certainly sounds good with all the work that they've been doing. Jared, final thoughts.
I'm just kind of ready for sports to pick back up. The down season gets boring pretty quickly, and I've had my time of relaxation. I'm ready to get back out there again.
Jared is ready to get into the starting gate and wait for the bell to ring. He's ready to get out and start running. And let's hope that it does get here quickly, too. I find myself missing it, sitting up in the press boxes of our various fall sports and such. And fortunately, my health is at the point where I think I'm going to be able to attend a lot more than I did last year. And I'm very, very thankful and happy about that indeed. Uh, I'm also very, very thankful and also very, very happy that, you know, I have this great crew here. You know, I got a very, very good crew at Cardinal Couple. And love the work that you guys do. And certainly, Case, I think you can kind of sound in on that a little bit as well. In addition to whatever things you have on your mind, we have a very, very good crew here.
Yeah, definitely been exciting to be a part of it, and happy to have gotten the chance to jump on board. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's been 7 or 8 years ago now, looking at when I graduated and stopped doing the stuff I was doing for Cardinal or for Car Chronicle as a student. But yeah, it's great, and everybody having various expertise and bringing. I think everybody brings something unique and exciting to the site and to the show when we do it. For my final thoughts, just wanted to give a shout out to Jaden Ulrich, who will represent the U.S. In the discus throw after placing second in the final at the USA Track and Field trials. Unfortunately, in last night's qualifiers for shot put, had a decent throw in her first throw and then faulted the second 2 attempts. Finished 17th in the top 12, advanced to the final tonight. So she won't represent in 2 sports, but still a decent showing at the trials. And then another unfortunate thing: no women's swimmers will represent UofL at the Olympics on the U.S. side. So a lot of attempts at the swimming trials last week, but none made it over the not over the line, made it to the wall to be representing the cards. But still, congratulations to all of them for even having the opportunities, and again to Jaden to be able to be part of that team.
Indeed. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Certainly enjoy these fine days where it's not quite 100 yet, but knocking at the door. So stay hydrated, okay? And we'll catch you here next week for the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.